Okay, so for my independent study, I chose the Sentinelese Tribe from India. I tried to find an interesting group, and I think that this tribe is probably the most interesting I could have found. So let's get into it. So the Sentinelese are one of the very few uncontacted tribes left in the world. They're completely isolated from all civilization. They live all by themselves. It's very little known about them. So they live in the North Sentinel Island of Bengal Bay in India. It's just about the size of Manhattan. So for the amount of people they have, it's quite a bit of land and completely cut off from the world. They've inhabited this island for over 30,000 years, and from the research that I found, they really think they've been there for about 60,000 years, but they only really have proof of 30,000. But even that is pretty remarkable. Like staying uncontacted for that long is amazing. Efforts have been made to try to get to know them, try to help them survive so that they can so that their people can keep living. But after every effort's been made, the message has been clear that they do not want any help. So I'll talk about the island for a few minutes. It's very rich in forest and vegetation, so they've never really had to go anywhere else to survive because, like, the soil that they can use is it's rich, and like I said before, it's about the size of Manhattan, so they've got plenty to work with. So, according to Indian law, it is illegal to make any contact with the island. You're not allowed to be within 5 nautical miles, and it's nothing but trouble for people who do not know about them. If you go, you will not be met with hospitality, is a good way to put it. So, as dangerous as it is for outsiders, it's just as dangerous for the tribe because they've lived there for so long and been isolated for so long that if anybody was to come into contact with them, they might bring diseases that they can't fight, and it could wipe out the entire tribe. So the Sentinelese are very Stone Age. Any materials they have, they've made it from their surroundings. The weapons are made from stones that they actually gather from old shipwrecks. So that's the only way they can get anything to make weapons like that. Like most older tribes, they're very hunter-gatherer society. They don't really they don't have any animals that they like mess around with or anything like that. It's just go out, find things to survive, and just keep going, and which they can on their island. So, from what little is known about their health, unlike a lot of other tribes, they enjoy great health. The very limited amount of pictures that people have been able to get of them, they all look fairly healthy. They don't look like they're starving, like you would think they might be. Again, very little known about their education process. The only thing I found is that something really interesting is they can only count up to two. Now, since there's so little known about that, I don't know how people have been able to figure that out, but they literally can only count to two. So we'll talk about human interaction. In 2004, there was a big tsunami that hit the area, and it killed thousands of people. And a helicopter flew over the island and found out that it didn't even harm the Sentinelese, which is pretty crazy to think about. And the helicopter was not met with, hospitality. This is a picture that the helicopter was able to capture. This is one man from the tribe who, although the helicopter was trying to help them and give them resources, like I said before, they don't want any help. And he was met with a bow and arrow, which is kind of interesting. So one interesting thing that happened with other human interaction, there was an American missionary named John Chow who felt it was his life calling to convert the Sentinelese to Christianity. and he knew what he was going to be facing with, and immediately as he went to face them, he was murdered. In a letter to his parents, he wrote that he thought if he gets killed, he thinks it's worth it because he really felt that it was his life calling to convert these people to Christianity, which, more power to him. I mean, that's really brave choice, but it was really not going to work at all. So, other human interactions they've had in 1970, a group of anthropologists attempted to meet the tribe. They were met with arrows and spears, and the tribe created a sex show to scare them off. They hovered around the water and just had a mating season right in front of them. 4 years later, the same group attempted to greet them again, and instead of having a sex show like they did last time, the tribe defecated on the sand as a way to insult them, which is just as interesting as the way they tried to scare them off before, but it's very interesting. In 1991, this was the only friendly encounter that's ever been recorded with the tribe. A group from National Geographic came, and I think it was twice they came to meet with him, and they brought them coconuts, a live pig, and a toy car, and the only thing they accepted was the coconuts. And the population, it's still a mystery. They think it's 50 to 500. It's very hard to tell with the island that they live on. And in 2011 census, it was estimated that 39 people were on the island, but it's so hard for them to tell because technically it's illegal to capture photographs of them. So that has been the Sentinelese Tribe from North Island, Bengal Bay. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was definitely very interesting to research them, and I'm looking forward to looking at some of your projects.